Hi, this is Harish here. Welcome to DB2 LUW tips and tricks video tutorial part 110. In this video tutorial, I'm going to talk about how DB2 gets confused by having monitor, the string monitor as table name. The data files and the script files that I'm using are freely available for download in db2luwacademy.blogspot.in. This slide talks about the problem scenario and solution. The problem scenario is we want to demonstrate how DB2 got confused by having monitor as table name. So suppose if you have the table name itself as a monitor and you want to write an SQL query updating the table, so you go ahead with update table name set column equal to value. So the query would look like update monitor set column equal to value. Now there is also a CLP command update monitor switches, like these are for the snapshot monitoring switches, right? So the conflict comes between these two. So whether the DB2 interpreter or the DB2 CLP or the command interpreter gets confused whether you are trying to execute a CLP command or whether you are trying to execute an SQL query. So that is the conflict root of the confusion here. Now the solution is you can either use schema name dot table name like in an expanded form so that it will be interpreted as an SQL query properly. Otherwise you can use double quotes around the table name. So you say update double quotes monitor double quotes in the query. So then it can interpret it as a SQL query instead of a CLP command. And there is another surprise element here. So if you put the query like the update monitor set column equal to value. So if you take this query and put it in an SQL file and execute it like db2-tvf SQL file with that update query, so we'll be thinking that the DB2 interpreter is going to interpret that as an SQL file, like as an SQL query, right? But it is surprisingly not. So I'll show you that. So this is a main surprise actually. So we always think that if you execute that, the SQL file is going to contain SQL queries, but you can see that it's not that way. So I'm going to show that to you. Okay, and as usual, let's go to the example part. So here I have started the instance. I'm using 11.1. I have created the database jungle and I have connected to that database jungle already. So let's go and create the table. So the table name itself is monitor. It has two columns, ID and name. So I'm inserting some sample values into it. So I'm not going to go through self-explanatory pretty much. So let us quickly run that. Okay, all done. So it got 3 records now. Okay, now I'll show you all the wrong things, right? So how it's not working. So first thing, update monitor set ID equal to 3, right? Not working. See, because it is thinking that switches, right? DB2 update monitor switches. So it is trying to execute this particular thing as a CLP command, not as an SQL query. Okay, so next what we can do? We can put entire thing, we can wrap it in double quotes. So I don't think that is also going to work. Nope. Okay, then I can put this like that, right? So update monitor. So this is the solution that I was talking about. So you can put like wrap it inside the double quotes. This should work. Okay, but again this is still not working actually. Okay, so even though I put double quotes, it is still taking it as a command only. It's not looking it as an SQL query. So what I was missing there is the backslash. See, because the double quotes is like kind of stripped off it, I think so. So I need to pass like that. Okay, so now it says db2-1.monitor is an undefined name. So it is trying to interpret this as an SQL query, but the problem here is the case. So the table name is actually in the uppercase. So in the catalogs and all, it is actually stored in an uppercase value. So this will probably succeed. Okay, so, I mean not probably. So this is going to work. Okay, so if you put like this will update properly. Okay, so this is the thing. Now let us come to that surprise element. So db2-tvf. So I am going to put everything inside this m.sql, right? And I'm going to run. So you can think that I will show you the content of the m.sql as well. So there are 3 SQLs. So one is update monitor without double quotes. Another one is update monitor with the double quotes inside it. So the first itself should be a success, right? Because it should interpret it as an SQL query, right? Because it is inside an SQL file. But this also will not be success. This will be successful, but there is a case sensitive issue because the table name will be interpreted like a uppercase, right? So this will also, I don't think this will give good results. This will work properly, the third one. So let's check that out. Okay, so this is the content of the m.sql. So I'm going to run that. Okay, so let me come to here and clear that. Okay, let me run that quickly. So you can see the first SQL, it thinks it is like a command, CLP command. So even though inside this SQL, it is an SQL query, but it is still interpreting as a command line, right? Like a DB2 command or that CLP command, right? So that it didn't work. Now this one will work. If you wrap it with double quotes, this works. But here the problem is the case sensitivity of the table name. So you have to give uppercase by default. When you create table, it is stored in the catalogs with uppercase. So there you go. So this got successful. So this is the tip that I wanted to give. So and another thing is create a table DB and do the same thing, like update DB set something, right? That will also have the same kind of scenario because there is a command DB to update DBCFG, right? And I think the same thing will happen for DBM because there is a command update DBM CFG, right? So that is the thing. So that is one thing. So another thing is even if your query is, even if you're putting that query inside the SQL file and giving it as an SQL file and executing like this, still it is trying to interpret the things inside that SQL file as a CLP command only and not an SQL query. See, that is a very big element of surprise actually. Okay, so hope this information was useful to you. That's it in this video tutorial. See you in the next video tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel youtube.com/db2luw academy. Until then, bye bye.